coloring fireworks. And we're going to use some oil and food coloring and water to make underwater fireworks. So for this project, you will need the food coloring from your kit, and from around your house, you will need a bowl, a glass or cup, some water, and about a quarter cup of oil. Less is okay. So the first step is to pour some water into your cup. Pour it about halfway. So now we're going to pour our oil into our bowl. It's very important that our bowl is dry, and we don't want to have any water in the bowl when we start pouring in the oil. Okay. So now we're going to add a few drops of food coloring into our oil, about 5 drops. And we're going to space our drops out evenly so there's nice little amounts of space between them. Okay. So what you're going to see is that the food coloring does not mix with the oil. So you're going to see these little dots of food coloring. And we don't want to mix the food coloring and oil together. We want them to be separate. And then when I pour all of this onto my water, I'm going to see a layer of the oil over the water, but I'm going to see little fireworks made from the food coloring. Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to pour all of the oil over top of our water. I'm just gonna wait for a second. Do you see how they start erupting like that? Swirl it around with my finger a little bit. Get them separate. And it's gonna start erupting. You can see some of them start to erupt. Pull it around a little bit more. So it can take a couple minutes of just waiting for all of them to get down, but you should start to see that. So, why does this happen? Why does the food coloring go all the way down to the water? Well, it has to do with some things liking to mix together and some things don't like to mix together. So oil and water don't like to mix together, so that's why you get a layer of oil on top of your water. But food coloring and water do like to mix together. So even though the food coloring was in the oil, when we poured it into the water did turn red all over because the food coloring sort of got into the oil and sort of started to mix together. But we also have these little drops of food coloring that stayed in the oil. They didn't mix with the oil, but then they slowly started to erupt because then they wanted to start mixing with the water. So that's why we get these little fireworks underwater as the food coloring starts to erupt and mix with the water. I hope you enjoy this project.